Southern California, good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show. Today we have ourselves quite a show, as we have ourselves quite a bit to get into, as the Rams and Chargers both lost in preseason play. It's just preseason play, no big deal, we don't need to hit the panic button, it's only preseason, don't worry, as we only have one more preseason game left to go, and then it starts to get real. Speaking of real, it just seems to get realer and realer for the Angels, as unfortunately they have another real injury on their hands, as Shohei Ohtani has a torn UCL and he will not be pitching. But he'll still be batting, but it just keeps getting worse and worse for the Angels. And also, Art Moreno might be selling the team. It's about time, because he seems to be doing a horrible job with the team. But at least the Dodgers are still relevant. And speaking of relevant, LAFC put the smackdown on the Colorado Rapids as they just stomped all over them yesterday. Is LAFC going to repeat as MLS Cup champions? We shall see. Also, today is Mamba Day, 8/24, as the Lakers just announced some big-time news regarding the late Kobe Bryant. What big news is that? Well, you'll have to find out. Also, we have all sorts of news regarding the NWSL, as well as the MLB and the MLS. And we have ourselves college football this weekend, as USC, UCLA, and San Diego State take the field. All that and more here on the SoCal Supreme Sports Show. This is Teran Rodriguez bringing you another edition of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And welcome one, welcome all to another edition of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show. Thank you all for joining me on this beautiful Thursday afternoon, Thursday morning, Thursday wherever you are listening from. Either way, you have made your way to episode 146 of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show. And without any further delay, let us begin. But first and foremost, the SoCal Supreme Sports Show would not be live without IE Sports Radio providing the platform to go live on Spreaker. Please do follow IE Sports Radio on what is formerly known as Twitter, X, Instagram, and on TikTok at IE Sports Radio. Also, please do follow them on Facebook. All you just gotta do is type in the word IE, then sports, then radio, and then boom, that's how you're able to follow IE Sports Radio on Facebook. And then you just gotta like them, and then that's how you're able to follow us. And then we have a website, www.iesportsradio.com. And when you go there, you'll see all of our content, ranging from our updated sports news, our blog, our Hall of Fame, our Fans of the Month, our pages dedicated to our podcasts, our community forum, and our merchandise shop. Because the weather is starting to change, as it's going from hot and humid to basically cool and brisk. Because for the past 9 years and counting, soon to be 10, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. All the while, we've been continuing to be by the fans and for the fans, and with your help, we're going to continue to do what we do. Thank you to everyone for all of your support and for making all IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that sports. And a huge shout out to our sponsor, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, the single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, it's low in sugar, and high in protein. This is some of the best jerky you can get your hands on, and you won't be disappointed. I can guarantee you that. All you just have to do is visit www.planetjerky.net and place your order, and then boom! That's how you're able to get it. Sorry if I blew up anyone listening to this on their earbuds and headphones and whatnot. Once again, a huge shout out to our sponsor, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. The jerky that is on a whole other planet. With all that said and done, let us begin, as Mike C is in the chat room, and then also Larry B is also in the chat room. He says, "So freaking Cal," and then Mike C says, listening to the show on his walk home, which is funny because I was listening to Mike's show yesterday on my walk home from work. So, dun 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 dun. That was the horrible X-Files theme, and I will never, ever, ever sing that ever again. And I hope we did not get copyright, because if so, I'm getting Dum Dum of the Week for probably a good portion of the month. Anyway, so with all that said and done, okay, let's begin. Okay, composure, Teran. All right, so let's discuss a little NFL, as we have some Chargers and Rams to go over, as the Rams took on the Rams took on Raiders on Saturday. So for the Rams, they lost to the Raiders, which, again, it's just preseason. It's no big deal. It's not a huge deal if you're the Rams. It's not the biggest deal. I mean, yes, they lost for the second straight week. Yes, they got decimated by the same score of 34-17, just like they did against the Chargers. No, it's not big. It's not a big deal. Oh, I should also say that Jimmy Garoppolo got a little bit of playing time, just like the old days back when he played for the Niners. But I will also say that Aiden O'Connell looked pretty good for the Raiders too. I also should mention that Stetson Bennett didn't look his best with the Rams, but neither did Brett Ripon. He only got 4 passes, so for the Rams, again, it's not the greatest game, but at the same time, at least they put up 17 points. Again, they've got a fairly young roster, and again, this is only preseason, so we shouldn't really ultimately sound the alarm. This isn't too big of a deal, but again, I hope the youngins can really get it together. So for the Rams, I hope they can basically get their act together, and I feel they have the potential to, put together a winning season and maybe make the playoffs, as this week they are hitting the road to the Mile High City to take on the Denver Broncos, which I think should be a nice little matchup. They're going to be playing that on Saturday, which I feel they can maybe win, but I will say this, the Broncos are probably going to play their starters like Russell Wilson, though I did also hear that Jerry Jeudy did suffer a hamstring injury, which, that is kind of concerning, but to each his own. So that is basically the Rams in a nutshell right there. They did lose to, Raiders, but it is what it is. And then for the Chargers, I kind of will say this. I kind of was a little bit more interested in their game against the Saints, just because as you all know, I am a Chargers fan, but I was a little bit hooked on it just because Easton Stick was kind of entertaining, and the Chargers did put themselves in a position to win, and even though I'm not fully interested in wins and losses in the preseason, I was interested to see how Easton Stick was orchestrating the offense and how he was doing as the QB2. Just because we all know Justin Herbert's QB1, but QB2 is clearly going to be Easton Stick, unless, of course, what's-his-face, the other guy, I'm blanking on his name. How am I blanking on Max Duggan is going to swoop in and take that quarterback 2 position. But either way, Easton Stick basically played the whole game, which, man, the dude got sacked 5 times and he threw 2 picks, but I don't understand why he played the whole game. But hey, he threw 21 for 41. He was 21 for 41. He had 233 yards. That's again 2 interceptions. He threw for no touchdowns. He actually led the team in rushing. He had 2 rushing touchdowns for 63 rushing yards, which, okay, that's nice. I mean, the ground game wasn't really all that effective. And also, the Chargers kind of had a few fumbles here and there as well. So, again, this wasn't really the greatest day for the Chargers, but hey, they put themselves in a position despite all the fumbles and turnovers. So, I'll just say this. Their offense looks promising already. Again, it's going to look even more promising once the starters are in, like Keenan Allen and then Justin Herbert and Mike Williams and Austin Eckler and all those guys and whatnot. So, and Quentin Johnston got to see some time as well. And I will say that Easton Stick did have some good throws. He had a 4th and I think 19 throw to Terrell Bynum for like 23 yards, which I was very impressed. So, yeah, it was actually a 39-yard throw to Terrell Bynum, which was his only catch. This was in the 4th quarter, and I think it was like it was deep in the 4th quarter. It was like 4th and 23, and I was basically like, okay, well, if he completes this 4th and 23, cool. But if not, then oh well. And a big shout out to Joey Haggart, the host of our New Orleans show, where at Sports Chat, he says, "Go Saints." Okay, I'm just gonna also say this: I don't care if the Chargers lost. Like, if they lost, cool. And I basically said this on my personal Twitter account. I said, even if the Chargers had won that, like, it's not going to perk me up just because it's only preseason. And I'm just going to say this. Preseason wins and losses are not, like, my cup of tea. I mean, yes, it was interesting that Easton Stick almost led a game-winning drive, and he practically carried the team, but it's nothing of consequence to me. And I was very surprised he stayed in the entire game. So, but it's nothing of, but wins and losses in the preseason to me are not something I will, like, get up out my seat or smash the panic button and whatnot. So it was interesting to say the least, but I'm not going to basically cry myself to sleep over. I'm not going to lose sleep over this loss. So overall, it was still rather eye-opening, but it is what it is for the Chargers. I mean, there's still some progression, and the Chargers are getting used to having Kellen Moore as their offensive coordinator, and I think it's looking a whole lot better than having Joe Lombardi as the offensive coordinator. So, anyway, the Chargers actually close out their preseason tomorrow against the San Francisco 49ers, which I think that's cool. And interestingly enough, they're actually... Here's the thing. They're having Trey Lance as the quarterback of leading the way in the preseason, but they have him as third in the depth chart, which, okay. But all in all, again, it's only preseason. I should not downplay this, and nobody should really downplay this all that much. So we'll see what happens when it comes to this final game for the Chargers. And again, if the Chargers win, cool. But it's not anything to be overly excited about. Like, once Sunday, September 10th rolls around, then we could all start speculating. And that's going to be the big time matchup. And I'm going to be really glued I'm going to have my eyes really glued to the TV for that week 1 matchup. And I think everything is going to be real. I think all eyes are going to be on the Chargers for the most part. So I'm excited for this season, and I really hope that it can be a good season for the Chargers because they have potential and they have good upside to their season. but it's all about staying healthy and whatnot. So we shall see what happens going forward. And I kind of wonder why the Chargers are playing on a Friday. Maybe they just can't cover every game on a Saturday or Sunday or whatnot. But I don't know. Either way, I'm just going to be busy over the weekend, so I just don't have enough time to see the Chargers taking on the Niners. But it is what it is. Alright, but that is basically it for the Chargers and the Rams in that regard. But what else we got going on this weekend is we have college football. I never thought I'd be saying those words. I never thought I'd be saying that, but we actually have college football this weekend. And it looks like we don't have college football regarding UCLA, which, that sucks. We do have college football regarding USC and San Diego State, which is cool. But for UCLA, they don't play until the following Saturday, where they have Coastal Carolina at home, where they get to play on ESPN, which is nice and all. But for USC, they kick off the season at home against San Jose State, which they should win that one. They're 30.5-point favorites. Okay, so I guess I'm going to have to play the prediction game now. So 30.5 points favorites. Do I really think not the Chargers. Do I really think USC is going to win by 30.5 points? If you're wondering what that noise is in the background, it's me scratching my chin. I have this strange feeling that USC is going to find some way to win by 28 and not cover the spread. Then again, it is a home game. But then again, Caleb Williams is back. But then again, is San Jose State that good? But then again, USC is number 6. You know what? Screw it. Screw it. I'm picking USC to win 49-10. I'm sorry to San Jose State fans, but I'm picking USC to beat San Jose State 49-10. I just think that the Trojans are going to kick off their season on a big note. If I were a betting man, I would pick the spread, but for me, I'm going to personally pick USC to win 49-10. And then as for San Diego State, Ohio, oh boy. San Diego State's only a 3-point favorite. I don't know what to expect with the Aztecs. I feel San Diego State's going to win this one. Let's get this out of the way. If San Diego State doesn't win this one, I can already guarantee you they're not going to win in 2 more weeks when they play UCLA, and then the following week against Oregon State, and then the following week after that against Boise State, and then so on and so forth. Well, they might beat Hawaii and maybe Utah State, but I don't know. Mike CS, is San Jose State any good? I mean, I'm sure they'll be good within their conference, but against USC, I highly doubt they hold a candle to them. So I don't think they'll be good regarding holding a candle to SC. But in their conference, sure. But back to San Diego State. Against Ohio, ooh. Okay, first thing to know when it comes to San Diego State, expect a defensive battle. Expect a low-scoring battle. When it comes to San Diego State, you should always expect, a low-scoring game. Just because, to me, I've always seen San Diego State play defensive, old-school football. If you're thinking that San Diego State is going to put up high numbers, well, you've got the wrong San Diego State. Unless, of course, they brought in a hot shot transfer in a quarterback. Because their quarterbacks are, they have 3 freshman quarterbacks. They've got Lou Amave, Kyle Crum, and Tobin Odell. God, I could not pronounce that first name to save my life. And then they also have Jalen Maiden, who was their quarterback from last year, who I think he transferred, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, they still have Jalen Maiden from last year, who I imagine is going to be the starting quarterback this year, unless they want to go young. And they also have two other quarterbacks. They have another freshman quarterback in Javance Tupau Ata Johnson, and then they also have a sophomore quarterback in DJ Ralph. Yes, I'm not kidding you. His name is DJ Ralph. Go figure. So anyway, that is San Diego State's quarterback room. I could already tell you that San Diego State's offensive room. I will tell you that San Diego State's biggest offensive weapon should be and will be Mark Redmond. He's 6'6", and he's a pretty darn good player. I really think that San Diego State should get Mark Redmond the ball. I've seen him play his high school days at Corona Del Mar, and he's pretty darn good. He actually was supposed to be a Washington Husky, and then I guess it didn't work out. So he transferred to San Diego State, and now he is on the Aztecs, and he has one more year in terms of eligibility. Unless he has one more year in terms of the COVID year. But I'm not going to get too much into that. So regarding the offense for San Diego State, I really think that the Aztecs should get Mark Redmond the ball. But that's just me being biased. But we'll see what happens. I want to say Breon Penny could be Rashad Penny's little brother, but I'm not entirely certain. I could be wrong, but Breon Penny, the first person I hear when it comes to the word Penny is Rashad Penny, who went to San Diego State. So I would not be surprised if Breon Penny is Rashad Penny's little brother. It would not surprise me in the slightest. But if that is the case, then I could see Breon Penny getting some looks as well. But for San Diego State in their matchup against Ohio, I'm going to take the Aztecs to win 17-10. I think San Diego State's offense is going to put up enough points to the point where their defense is going to carry the load to victory. I don't think it's going to be a flashy game, but I don't think it's going to be a crazy, wild one where it's going to be the Aztecs basically going crazy in terms of their offense and whatnot. So if it just so happens to be more than them scoring 20 points, then I will be surprised, to say the least. So we'll see what happens, but honestly, give me 17-10 in favor of San Diego State. And then for San Diego, in terms of the FCS, they don't play until next week when they play they don't play until the 9th, which I guess that's when they have a later start in terms of the FCS, or the FCS that doesn't start until a little bit later. Well, actually, but for San Diego, they actually have they don't start till the week before. So they start next week when they play Cal Poly, which that's always a fun matchup when Cal Poly and San Diego face one another, which, believe it or not, they are actually in the same, or they're not in the same conference, but it's always a nice rivalry match. Cal Poly is in the Big Sky Conference, while San Diego is in another conference, being the Pioneer Football League, which is cool. But for Cal Poly, yeah, they're in another conference. They actually have UC Davis in their conference, which traditionally UC Davis and Cal Poly are in the Big West Conference in other sports, but that's not the case in this sport. And Davis is not Southern California, they're Northern California, so just so we're clear on that. But Cal Poly and San Diego do not kick off play this week, they kick off play next week. So, yeah, there's that right there. And believe it or not, now that we're on the topic of Cal Poly, they actually play San Jose State the following Saturday. They play them on the 9th. So I think that's cool that Cal Poly is playing San Jose State. If Cal Poly actually does beat San Jose State. That would be pretty good. So I'd like to see Cal Poly pulling off that win. If that is the case, then maybe Cal Poly should be in the Pac-12. Maybe we bring up Cal Poly and put them in the Pac-12. Hint, hint. Hint, hint, NCAA. Figure it out and save the Pac-12 before it goes into disarray. I mean, in terms of the Big West, they're kind of the UC Davis and kind of big. UC Davis and Cal Poly are the only schools with. They're the only Big West schools to basically have football teams traditionally. Oh yeah, and there's also Hawaii too. I forgot. Sorry, but it's so weird that Hawaii is an FBS school, but in terms of Cal Poly and UC Davis, they're FCS schools. So that's something that always struck me as odd. Maybe it's just not so big success. So anyway, yeah, Cal Poly and Davis, or Cal Poly and San Diego, they don't play until next week, so we won't dive too much into that matchup until next week. So yeah, well, that'll be it for college football. So I'm downplaying college football too much. As let's jump on into some other football. As let's talk some soccer. As LAFC and LA Galaxy survived Hurricane Hillary. Yeah, that was kind of a thing right there. Hurricane Hillary could not stop, the outside door sports. As that actually, Hurricane Hillary, for those that live in Southern California, it actually came on Sunday as opposed to Saturday, which was not a problem for the likes of the Rams, who played on Saturday, and then the Chargers played on Sunday. And even if they did, I want to say the Chargers played indoors, but I digress. So LAFC's matchup against Colorado actually got moved from Saturday all the way over to Wednesday, which it is what it is. Regardless, LAFC put the smackdown on Colorado yesterday as they won 4-0, as 3 of LAFC's goals came in the first half. Matsus Bogus scored in the 19th minute for LAFC. 10 minutes after, Carlos Vela and then Ryan Hollingshed scored 7 minutes after, and suddenly LAFC was up 3-0. And then Christian Oliveira managed to score for LAFC in the 83rd minute to add insult to injury for LAFC. So LAFC basically had no hangover in terms of their loss to Monterey. Sorry, my pronunciation is bad. Anyway, but LAFC is still 4 points behind St. Louis, which is no bueno, but that is all good. Larry B comments, he says, that's a NorCal team. Yes, but we were talking about USC versus San Jose State in regards to that, and as well as Cal Poly taking on San Jose State in a couple more weeks. And Mike C asked, is San Jose State any good? And to answer that, yeah, I answered that. So to answer that, I basically said, yes, they're good in their conference, but against SC, no. So that's the reason why Mike asked about San Jose State. So I basically am taking SC to win by 30 plus. If they don't win by 30 plus, then I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry on the next episode of SoCal Supreme Sports Show. I mean, they should win by 30 plus. They have the talent. But back to the MLS. Okay, but speaking of dominant teams, LAFC really put the smackdown on Colorado, as this was the second best team in the West taking on the worst team in the West. this was no surprise that LAFC really showed up against Colorado. I mean, I would be pissed off too if I lost in the quarterfinals of the League's Cup and I was facing the worst team in our conference and I was going to have to take my frustration out on them. And it also helped that they got a little bit more rest because of the postponement from Hurricane Hillary. So the Hurricane Hillary kind of was a good thing, even though it left a lot of, I wouldn't say collateral damage, but it left water damage and whatnot. So yeah. Anyway, so LAFC is back at it this Saturday as they actually have quite a short week as they play at Charlotte, which they just recently lost, but before that they actually had a good winning streak. So that's kind of good right there. At least LAFC doesn't get another cupcake, though Charlotte is no better than Colorado. But no, I shouldn't say that. Charlotte is kind of in the hunt for a playoff spot in the East, as they're actually only 6 points, or actually no, they're 12 points back of Atlanta. Anyway, so LAFC is on the road against Charlotte, which for LAFC on paper they should be able to handle business. They just can't underestimate their opponent. If they do, then they could be on the wrong side of the scoreboard. But for LAFC, they just can't underestimate anybody, especially with Real Salt Lake on their coattail, and Seattle's kind of closing in on them. San Jose is kind of right on the, I wouldn't say right on the mark as well, but they're also in the thick of it as well. So they just can't underestimate anybody. That's what I'm trying to say. And then for the lowly Galaxy, their game against Real Salt Lake actually got postponed. So here's the thing about Real Salt Lake. They actually played in a tournament game, as they actually played in the semifinals against Houston They played in some sort of tournament. I don't know what tournament this was. This wasn't the League's Cup because they got smacked in that tournament against LAFC. It was in the 2023 U.S. Open Cup. Now, I don't know why. I don't know what happened regarding that, but Real Salt Lake lost to Houston. So, this Saturday, the Galaxy was supposed to play Real Salt Lake. But, because of Hurricane Hillary, I want to say that was postponed, and then I guess Real Salt Lake and the Galaxy are going to try to work out a date on when they're going to play. And eventually, Houston and Real Salt Lake are going to... And then Houston and Real Salt Lake played last night, and then Real Salt Lake lost. So, if I was Real Salt Lake, I would have legit maybe played the LA Galaxy, because if this year's LA Galaxy team is not good. This year's LA Galaxy team stinks. They stink, I tell you. They would have legit not broken a sweat had they played the Galaxy. I'm sorry, but it is the truth. And I'm sorry, LA Galaxy fans, but it is the exact 100% truth. So, unfortunately for the Galaxy, they have their time off from when they got smacked in the League's Cup tournament. It continues, as their next game will be this Saturday when they play Chicago at Dignity Health Sports Park. So, finally, LA Galaxy will get a match after having to deal with an extended period following the League's Cup tournament, and then the MLS Cup break, and then Hurricane Hillary. So now we get LA Galaxy finally getting an MLS Cup match, which at this point for LA Galaxy, they're playing for pride, and they're playing to hopefully put a smile on their fans' faces after they fired Chris Klein. It's just been such a horrible year for the Galaxy. But just remember, LA Galaxy fans, you at least fired Chris Klein. That is the one thing that cannot hurt you. Klein cannot hurt you. So just don't worry. The season is almost over. So unless, of course, So it looks like, according to the Galaxy schedule, the Galaxy might have rescheduled their match against Real Salt Lake for October 14th, which is a Saturday. But that could be another match that the Galaxy and Real Salt Lake are facing one another against. Because the Galaxy and Real Salt Lake were supposed to face each other at Dignity Health Sports Park. But I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be they rescheduled for that day. Maybe not. But time will tell if their match that was supposed to be played last Saturday is going to get rescheduled. But in all honesty, maybe the Galaxy should forfeit that match. Just because, or maybe Real Salt Lake could forfeit that match just because give the Galaxy some sort of freebie. Considering the Galaxy have had such a horrid year. I don't know. They've really had such a bad year, and maybe they can give them some sort of glimmer of hope. But what do I know? I'm just a fan who is hoping for the best in terms of the Galaxy, but the Galaxy stink. Anyway, that'll do it for the Galaxy and for LAFC. At least one team in terms of the MLS actually knows how to win. Jumping over to the NWSL. So Angel City and San Diego were both successful last weekend. For Angel City, they kept up their lossless streak, even though I don't think lossless is a word, as Angel City and Louisville tied, or Racing Louisville tied last Saturday, as they tied 1-1, as both teams didn't get their scoring started until late in the second half, as Katie Johnson scored in the 67th minute, which for Angel City, that's good. But unfortunately, they got to realize you still have more time to play, as 12 minutes after Johnson's goal, Kirsten Davis scored for Racing Louisville FC, which eventually turned out to be the game-tying goal, which eventually turned out to being a 1-1 tie. So while Angel City did not win, they did not lose, which is good, but every match is precious if they want to surpass the likes of San Diego for that final playoff spot. And Angel City is now in 10th place, which, I mean, it's not bad, but for Angel City, they're going to have to step it up. I mean, it's great that they haven't lost a match in over 2 months. However, wins are so much better than are so much better than ties. Just because wins give you 3 points as opposed to ties, which give you 2 points. Or ties that give you 1 point. Sorry. Ties give you 1 point, not 2 points. Anyway, so for LAFC, or for Angel City, I really think that they're still doing solid, and it's really great that they're doing great despite the departure of Freya Coombe. But I will say, winning might have to be in the cards for Angel City. Because if not, then the playoffs might not be featuring them. And yes, I understand that Julie Ertz did retire recently from soccer following the U.S.'s loss, but it still is no excuse. Yes, and I did not know, and I did know that Julie Ertz did play for Angel City. I just now realized this when I clicked the news prior to my show starting, when it came to Angel City's news, which, meh. But it's all good. So, in all honesty, for Angel City, they still have a chance. However, time is kind of running out for them. I still think that the fact that they haven't lost a match in over 2 months is really impressive. So, we'll see what happens. So, I still am wondering if Becky Tweed, the current head coach or the interim coach, is still going to get that head coach job, or if she's going to be applying for the head coach job along with the other interview process, and then eventually will she win out the job or whatnot. because her resume is looking good by the day. But we'll see what happens. So for Angel City, they are back at it this Sunday when they host OL Reign at BMO Stadium. Yes, I said it right this time. BMO Stadium, not Bank of California Stadium. So OL Reign is going to be a tough customer because they are in the top 5 of the NWSL standings. I really want Angel City to win that one just because that would be a statement win if they beat OL Reign. Now, it's a home game, so I think Angel City can win. And they've got some good momentum against OL Reign. I mean, their past 2 matches have been draws, but for Angel City, they have, like I said, they haven't lost a match in over 2 months. But against an actual contender, they're going to really have to play their best game. Because if not, then can they actually pull out a win? Because in terms of the playoff hunt, every match is now precious. Because you have only 6 more matches remaining for Angel City. And if you want to make the playoffs, you're going to need wins and not ties. Because Angel City is still behind the likes of Houston, Louisville, and Orlando in terms of the NWSL standings. And then you still have San Diego, which is currently occupying the final spot of the NWSL standings. And that's actually a perfect segue to go into San Diego Wave FC. So, finally, Wave FC won a match. It took over 2 months for Wave FC to win a match. But they finally won a match. At home, nonetheless. As Wave FC won at home against Gotham, winning 2-1. It took forever. It feels like an eternity. But they won at home. Yes, I can't believe it either. It feels like forever. But, oh my goodness. Yes, I am very impressed by Wave FC. Congratulations, as they finally wound up winning at Snapdragon Stadium as they beat Gotham 2-1. So the game started with Mackenzie Doniak scoring the goal in the 17th minute as Wave FC led 1-0 at halftime. Then Amira Ali scored in the 85th minute to give San Diego a nice little insurance goal, putting them up 2-0. Gotham didn't score until 12 minutes in stoppage time. Yikes, 12 minutes in stoppage time? What the heck? Why did they give him so much? Why did the refs give so much stoppage time? That's dangerous, dude. Anyway, Katie Stengel gave the Gotham their lone goal as Wave FC wound up winning 2-1 as the officials finally called off the game and basically gave Wave FC the win. And finally, Wave FC snapped that 2-month winless streak. So that's the good news for Wave FC. And it's about darn time. The bad news is Wave FC didn't really gain too much ground as they're still in 6th place. The other good news is that they also didn't lose any ground because Orlando actually won. Now, had Wave FC lost, or had they tied... Actually, yeah, well, no. Had Wave FC lost, then Orlando would have surpassed Wave FC. And had Wave FC tied, then Orlando and Wave FC would have been tied for the final spot. So, Wave FC and OL Reign are both tied for the final spot, or tied for 5th in terms of points. And believe it or not, they're actually tied in terms of overall records, and they're actually tied in goal differential, which I think is very, 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 very interesting if you ask me. So, OL Reign and San Diego both have the same record, and they both have the same number of points. And they both have the same number of goal differential. That's unbelievable. Anyway, so Wave FC is back at it tomorrow when they hit the road to the Sunshine State to take on Orlando. So that is a huge game right there. That could actually make or break San Diego's chances of making the playoffs. Because if San Diego wins this match, then they're going to distance themselves further against Orlando in terms of that 6th spot. And they could put OL Reign in a tough spot because then they'd have to beat a surging Angel City team that has not lost a match in over 2 months. But if Wave FC loses, then Orlando is pretty much getting closer and closer, and they can actually surpass Wave FC in terms of the 6th seed in the NWSL standings. So for Wave FC, this is probably the biggest match of the season. And I'm not just over-exaggerating that, or I'm not just using a coach's term. This is a huge match for San Diego Wave FC. And they're on the road, so I hope playing on the road this time around is going to really motivate them. Because it seems like Wave FC is more fired up on the road than playing at home. I feel Wave FC is more complacent at home, more so than playing at home, or playing on the road. But I digress. But all in all, for Wave FC, I am quite impressed that they finally beat a really good team in Gotham, as I thought they would crumble like origami. But all in all, I think that's a good win, especially kicking off the final stretch of the NWSL, not NWSL playoff push, but that's actually the perfect thing to call it. The NWSL playoff push, as Wave FC only has 6 matches to go, just like Angel City, and every match is now precious going forward. So we'll see what happens when it comes to Wave FC and their match tomorrow against Orlando. But that'll do it for the NWSL portion of the show. We're going to take ourselves a quick little commercial break. When we come back, we've got some NBA to talk about and WNBA to discuss. And it's actually positive news regarding the WNBA. And then we also have some MLB to discuss, as the Angels are a walking funeral home. And we also have the Dum Dum of the Week to discuss. So keep it locked here. You are listening to the SoCal Supreme Sports Show here on IA Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that sports. We'll be right back after this.
Well, what is up, Carolina Nation? This is John Felipe of the Carolina Cast, of course, the podcast of, by, and for the Carolinas, right here on IE Sports, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I'm reminding you to tune in Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern for the latest in Carolina sports, whether it's the Panthers that keep on pounding, the fly natures of the Hornets, the storming Hurricanes, the battle of the Blues with Duke and UNC, the fight of the Clemson Tigers, or the amazing atmosphere of any Carolina college. I'm talking App State, I'm talking ECU. I've got you covered. Once again, tune in for the Carolina Cast with me, John Felipe, Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right. Welcome to AZ Sports Daily. I'm your host, Kieran Daly, bringing the heat to Arizona sports. There's no discrimination here. We're going to talk about every sports team, professional and college. The show is all about you, the listener. I'm here to entertain you. Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here? It's going to be fun, high energy. You may not agree with what I say. That's okay. Let me hear you. Let's talk about it. Join me every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on AZ Sports Daily. That's AZ Sports, Daily, and at IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, sports fans? You're listening to IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your favorite West Coast Wisconsinite, Bernie Bango, and if you're a cheesehead, come listen to my show, Big Cheese Sports, where we road trip around America's Dairyland, previewing, reviewing, predicting, debating, and digging into all that is Wisconsin sports at the college and pro levels. Join me on IE Sports Radio, Sundays at 1 p.m. Central Standard. Bernie out.
What up, Boston sports fans? This is Mikey Two Guns here, your host of Our Bleepin' City, airing every Wednesday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Please join me. We'll talk everything Boston sports, all the local teams, college teams. I'm even down to talk MMA, boxing, whatever you guys want. So join me every Wednesday night, 7 to 8 p.m. Chime in with your questions on the chat, tweet the show. We'll even have call-ins. I can't wait to hear from you guys. This is going to be a lot of fun. So once again, it's Our Bleepin' City. I am your host, Mikey Two Guns, every Wednesday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. See you soon, people.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back to the second half of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that sports. Check out all of our amazing shows, as we have shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country, and all shows dedicated to different sports such as basketball, football, college football, and heck, even volleyball, dedicated to courtesy of yours truly. As we welcome Davidson Crooks that popped in the chat room, he says, "What's good?" He is the host of our basketball show, Fast Break. He's actually a fellow Lakers fan, just like me. That's actually a perfect segue to go into our next discussion, being the Lakers. As for those that don't know, today is actually Mamba Day, 8/24, the former the numbers of the late Kobe Bryant. And yesterday was actually Kobe Bryant's birthday. So there was actually some big time news that surfaced today, and this was actually big news from the Lakers, and I am happy to announce this news, and I am ecstatic to basically share this news to you all. So the Kobe Bryant statue will be unveiled. And yes, Kobe Bryant will get a statue. It'll be a bronze statue, and it'll be unveiled on February 8th, 2024. Yeah, go figure. 8 and 24. An honor fit for a legend. And the reason why it's on February 8th, 2024, so it's 8 and 24, the numbers of Kobe Bryant, and then February, which is the second month of the 12 years, and it's also the month, or it's actually the number of Gigi Bryant, the daughter of Kobe Bryant, who also passed away in that tragic helicopter crash. So you can't script this, honestly. And I'm so happy that Kobe Bryant is finally, hence the word finally, getting this statue unveiled. And I hope the Lakers are playing somebody that they can definitely beat. And I hope whoever the Lakers are playing, they definitely win that matchup. Because if the Lakers lose that matchup, I swear to all that is holy, they are getting Dum of the Week. But for today, the fact that they are getting this news, that they unveiled this news, they're getting the Big W award. And honestly, they couldn't have, whoever approved of this news, or whoever approved of this, is getting the Big W award. I'm very happy about this, and honestly, it couldn't have happened for a great living legend regarding this whole news. And I still miss Kobe Bryant to this day. It just is so tragic that he's not here. He would have been 45 yesterday, and yeah. So, in all honesty, I'm really happy that I'm trying not to get too sappy and emotional, but I'm really happy that the Lakers decided to approve of this whole motion. And Jeannie Buss said, Kobe Bryant was one of the most extraordinary athletes of all time and one of the most iconic individuals in the history of Los Angeles. There is no better place for Kobe to be honored with a statue than here, which is the Crypto.com Arena, the former Staples Center, or formerly known as the Staples Center, at the center of our city where everyone can celebrate him and be inspired by his incredible achievements. And then Rob Pelinka, the Lakers owner, said, Kobe's transcendent spirit is always and forever in our hearts, inspiring us every day. And now with the unveiling of this powerful and beautiful statue, he will have a physical presence too. A place on the hollowed ground Kobe created where we can all gather and pay honor to a mighty and great man. So thank you to the Los Angeles Lakers, and thank you to everyone for basically doing this honor. So I'm just so happy. And there were a lot of great iconic moments that the Lakers posted regarding the Kobe Bryant. There was Kobe winning, Kobe's little moment in the shower holding the trophy, which was basically the impersonation of Michael Jordan. And then there was also Kobe Bryant outscoring the entire Dallas Mavericks team through three quarters. Yeah, he had 62 points when the Dallas Mavericks had 61 points, which was amazing. And then there was also Kobe Bryant promoting the WNBA, where he was with Lisa Leslie, and then he was also with the Mamba Academy, and then he was also with Chris Paul and whatnot.
That shot him down.
Nice going, Teran, and whatnot. So, and then there was also this little news right here. In honor of Kobe's birthday, babies born on this week are receiving special care packages thanks to UCLA Health, which, that's awesome. Great job to UCLA Health and UCLA Health in hospitals and whatnot. So that's another Big W award honoree right there. So great job to UCLA Health and Hospital. So smart decision making right there. So, and that's pretty much that regarding the the Lakers and whatnot. And as today, once again, is basically Kobe Bryant Day, 8/24. So, I again, the more I don't want to like talk more about it. Otherwise, I'm going to get emotional and I might start crying. Just like I did that one. Just like I nearly did that one time when ESPN LA hooked up that Laker fan who was like living in his car along with his son. Yeah. All right. That's enough. Anyway. So that's that for the NBA. Let's jump on over to the WNBA, as believe it or not, the Sparks are actually making me happy, and that says a lot because they've had kind of a tragedy in terms of their season. Okay, maybe tragedy is not the right word to use, but last Saturday? Last time we did this show? Yeah, last Saturday, they had themselves quite the monumental win, as I was kind of being a negative Nancy saying that they weren't going to beat the Las Vegas Aces because the Aces had not lost a game at home. However, the Sparks actually did something no other team did against the Aces. They actually beat the Aces in Las Vegas 78-72, which I was very perplexed, as they actually snapped a 13-game losing streak to the Las Vegas Aces, which, big yikes right there, as Lashia Clarendon posted 22 points for the Sparks, Jordan Canada had 20 points, and Nneka Ogwumike had a double-double for the Sparks, which was nice and all, as Ogwumike had 19 points and 11 rebounds. So that is a huge win right there. I don't think anybody in their right mind would have predicted the Sparks beating the Aces, because the Aces are the best team in not only the Western Conference, but the best team in the league. And the Sparks have been anything but the best team in the league. And the Sparks did that on the road. I'm just baffled by that. But good for the Sparks. So good job to the Sparks, as they also followed that up with a 91-62 thumping win over the Phoenix Mercury. So now the Sparks have won 5 straight wins, which I think is rather good, as the Sparks are actually 1.5 games ahead of the Chicago Sky for that final playoff spot, which, that's huge. Sorry, got the hiccups. God. Little indigestion right there. Sorry. The Sparks are now 1.5 games ahead of the Chicago Sky for that final playoff spot, which I think is big time right there, as they have a whopping 8 more games remaining, as the Sparks hit the road to the ATL to take on the Atlanta Dream. Now, the Sparks did take down the Dream a couple weeks ago, and the two teams are playing this Friday or tomorrow. But this time, the Sparks are basically going to have to bring their A game, just because the Dream are also dreaming of a possible playoff pipe dream as well. So we'll see what happens going forward. And Mike C actually posted something really interesting. He says, I think it's awesome that Dee Brown's daughter, Lexi Brown, plays for the LA Sparks. I got a chance to speak with Dee Brown last week, and he was so proud of her. Oh, so I kind of had a feeling that there was a resemblance. I was like, Lexi Brown and Dee Brown. I had a feeling there was a connection. So I kind of had a feeling, but I just couldn't put 2 + 2 together. So that's very interesting, Mikey Two Guns of Our Bleepin' City. Yeah, definitely do check out Mikey Two Guns of Our Bleepin' City and all his interviews on his Twitter page. And since he's verified, his videos are in higher definition, his interviews are a lot longer, so definitely do check him out on Twitter. So you do great work, Mike. So that's your little plug right there. So back to the Sparks. The Sparks play the Dream on Friday or tomorrow, which I think is going to be huge for the Sparks. They also play the Connecticut Sun this upcoming Sunday, and they also play the Chicago Sky at home on Tuesday. Now, the Chicago Sky one is so big right there, considering those two are basically fighting for that final playoff spot. And then I guess I should also make note that the Sparks are playing the Seattle Storm next Thursday, so we'll see what happens. And Cale Henderson pops into the chat room. Oh my god, I don't want to gloat, Cale, about the Sparks beating the Aces, and I have no room to gloat, considering the Sparks have been terrible and the Aces are the reigning WNBA champs, so I'll keep my words to myself. But hey, the Aces are still the WNBA champs, and they're still the WNBA's best. So I have no room to talk. So thank you to Cale Henderson, the host of Sin City Sports, for popping into the chat room. Appreciate you popping in on either your break or your day off. It means a lot. So anyway, so for the Sparks, they're on a 5-game winning streak, which I never thought I'd be ushering those words, but I think the schedule is going to be getting really crucial for them just because the Dream are basically in the thick of that playoff spot. The Sun have locked up a playoff spot, and they're still trying to keep up with the Liberty and the what's their faces, the Aces. The Sky are right on the coattails of the Sparks. And then the Storm are also still in the hunt for a playoff spot, but they're kind of a pipe dream. I mean, they're still in a decent position, but they're kind of a semi-long shot. Kind of like the Mercury and the Fever, but I digress. Alright, but that's that for the Sparks. Good job, Sparks. Way to go. Anyway, on to the MLB, and do I really need to talk about the MLB? I don't want to. I have to. So yesterday, and this was quite tragic for MLB fans. So yesterday, in the Angels' loss to the Cincinnati Reds, it was found out that Shohei Ohtani had a torn UCL, and he won't be pitching the rest of the season. So, thankfully, Shohei Ohtani can continue to bat, but unfortunately, he is done for pitching the season. Well, great job to the Angels. You just destroyed the unicorn. I hope you're proud of yourselves, because remember, this is an offseason where Shohei Ohtani could be going elsewhere or he could be staying an Angel, which, if you let Shohei Ohtani walk out that door, you are officially Dum-Dum of the Year. I don't give a crap what anyone else says. If you let that man walk out that door, there is no coming back from that. I will show no mercy regarding that. You don't deserve any mercy. So, yeah. I'm sorry, but that's just unacceptable. So, for the Angels, and then also Mike Trout the good news was he actually came off the injured list, only to see himself go back onto the injured list, which was the bad news. So, yeah, talk about boomeranging himself back onto the injured list. Oh, joy. It's just been that type of year for the Angels, which, oh, man. It's just been absolutely tragic for the Angels. It just seems, when it rains, it pours, kind of like Hurricane Hillary. Okay, maybe I shouldn't really use that reference anymore. So when it came to their series against the Tampa Bay Rays, they took 1 out of 3 against the Rays. They lost 2 out of 3 against the Rays. So on Friday they lost 9-6 against the Rays, which, believe it or not, if I had told you Shohei Ohtani hit a grand slam against the Tampa Bay Rays and the Angels still wound up losing. Oh, by the way, in addition to that, the Angels also had a triple play for the first time in 26 years, and they also had a grand slam, and the Angels still lost to the Tampa Bay Rays, I think everyone would have said the Angels won. Nope. The Angels lost because they're the Angels. Only the Angels, ladies and gentlemen. Only the Angels, because, well, they're the Angels. They just can't seem to get it out of their own way. They lose in painstakingly bad fashion. They had a 5-1 lead, and once again, they just couldn't keep it together, which it just sucks. The good news is for the Angels, they actually had a doubleheader. So a lot of these, because of Hurricane Hillary, a lot of these doubleheaders is basically there were a lot of doubleheaders regarding the Angels and Dodgers, and I think maybe the Padres too. So game 1 of the doubleheader, the Angels managed to beat the Rays 7-6, which I think was pretty impressive. But that's the good news. The bad news is Game 2 was an utter shellacking from the Rays as they beat the Angels 18-4. Oh, goodness. I think it's safe to say the Rays were super angry. They had 20 hits. 20 hits. They made Barry Bonds look like nothing. Bad joke. Anyway, but yeah, that was basically the Rays and Angels in a nutshell. And then in their most recent series against the Reds, they got swept. So on Monday they were supposed to play, but because of the aftermath of Hurricane Hillary, the field wasn't good enough to play on, and they had to have a doubleheader on Wednesday. So on Tuesday, the Angels lost to the Reds 4-3, which, yeah, bully for them. The Angels led 3-1, but the Reds just scored 5 runs after that 3-1 lead. So, ew. And then the doubleheader yesterday against the Reds. The Reds won by scores of 9-1, or I'm sorry, not 9-1, 9-4 and 7-3. So, blah. And yesterday was the news that Shohei Ohtani had the UCL injury. So, Angels just can't seem to have good things in this world. They just can't. The good news, but like I said, the Angels just can't seem to beat anybody that's not named the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Detroit Tigers, the Oakland A's, the San Francisco Giants, or the New York Yankees without Aaron Judge. And again, so much for going all in before the trade deadline, because I don't think they went all in enough, because they just seem to suck. Because against some of the better teams like the Reds, the Mariners, the Rays, the Astros, the Rangers, they just seem to continue to lay egg after egg after egg after egg. It's just so bad, dude. And they haven't won a series ever since that Giant series, which I find rather funny. The good news is for the Angels, they have today off before heading down to the Big Apple on Friday to take on the New York Mets. Now, this time, the Angels take on a Mets team which has been completely tragic. And that's a 3-game series on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the Angels will hit the road to the land of brotherly love to take on the Philadelphia Phillies, which have postseason aspirations. And then to kick off the month of September, the Angels hit the road to Northern California to take on the Oakland A's, which, if the Angels can't win 2 out of 3 against that team, then the Angels should fold the rest of this season, because that is the epitome of tragic. And the Oakland A's are out of the playoff running, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't even say, which sucks, but whatever. I thought I was told that the Oakland A's were officially eliminated from playoff berth, or playoff contention, but regardless, it is what it is. Mike C. in the chat room says, if they let Shohei walk, that will be just as bad as when the Red Sox traded Babe Ruth to the Yankees. Major facts right there, and I could totally agree with that. Yeah, it's just been that. It's been that type of year for the Angels. Another year where just when we all thought the Angels were looking really good and very promising, they wind up pooping the bed. And I had a feeling this was going to happen just because, yes, they were beating their chests after they were beating the Pirates and the Tigers and the Yankees without Aaron Judge. But then once they took on actual teams, I mean, they beat the Giants 2 out of 3 times. But after that, they wind up putting up wet farts across the board. So I'm just saying, y'all. I tried to warn y'all, but none of y'all listened to me. Anyway, so moving on to the Dodgers, who actually know how to win. So the Dodgers are now 10.5 games on the Giants in the NL West. Very impressive. So against the Miami Marlins, unfortunately, their 3-game series was also 2 days because of Hurricane Hillary. The Saturday, they had to play 2 games on Saturday, which was a doubleheader. On Friday, their 11-game win streak came to an end as the Marlins beat the Dodgers 11-3, which made me sad. But on Saturday, and on both games on Saturday, the Dodgers beat the Marlins both times by identical scores of 3-1, which was good. Then on Tuesday, the Dodgers hit the road to the land to take on the Cleveland Guardians as the Guardians beat the Dodgers 8-3. It's kind of tough to beat the Guardians when you have 2 days off. I mean, yes, you have that 1 day off to travel, but because of Hurricane Hillary, you kind of had that extra day of semi-rust, but I digress. But yesterday, the Dodgers bounced back with a good 6-1 win as the Dodgers close out the series in the rubber match against the Cleveland Guardians at 1:20 p.m. today, which is actually coming up right now in about 2 minutes, as of this recording. This weekend, the Dodgers hit the road to Beantown to take on the Boston Red Sox. If that was a bad Boston accent, I apologize. Sunday, like I mentioned last episode of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, I think one of these games, Kershaw is pitching for the Dodgers. No. I guess the Dodgers haven't decided on if Kershaw is pitching, which sucks because if for some reason the Dodgers go with Clayton Kershaw on Sunday, because they've got Lance Lynn pitching on Friday, and then they've got Julio Urias on Saturday, and let's say they go with Clayton Kershaw on Sunday. If they give Kershaw the go-ahead on Sunday, then if Kershaw does beat the Red Sox on Sunday, then Kershaw will officially get his first ever win against the Red Sox, which he'll get closer and closer to beating every team in the MLB, which I don't know if that's been accomplished by a pitcher, but if that is the case, then bully for him. Anyway, so on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the Dodgers will head back home to the Chavez Ravine to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks, which I feel bad for them. Total freefall mode. And then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, as well as Sunday, the Dodgers will stay at the Chavez Ravine to take on the Atlanta Braves, who have a better record than them, and that could be a potential playoff preview in terms of maybe the NLCS, which I would love to see the Dodgers take on the Braves in that series. I think it would be a match made for heaven, and I think it would be inevitable or unavoidable. But in order to get to the NLCS, they actually have to get past the divisional round, if not maybe the wild card. Because you got to remember, three wild card teams can make the playoffs. And looking at the standings right now in terms of the National League, the Dodgers are the second best team in the National League. So they would play the third best wild card, which would be the in the National League, which would be the Cincinnati Reds. And that National League wildcard race is getting so interesting. Heck, even the Padres might have a shot. I would hate to see the Giants face the Dodgers. I think the Giants pose a threat to the Dodgers just because that's a rivalry series, an inter-series rivalry, and you never know with these rivalries. And also, the Reds also can pose a threat just because of Ellie De La Cruz, but I digress in that regard. But we'll see. But that's that for the Dodgers right there. And then for the Padres, they're 6 back of the wild card. I mean, but they're still way back in terms of the whatchamacallit, in terms of the National League West. So they played the Diamondbacks they had a 4-game series against the Diamondbacks. They lost the first game 3-1 on Thursday, but then bounced back with a 4-0 win on Friday. Then they had a doubleheader, just like the Dodgers and the Angels on Saturday. And they lost both those games 6-4 in Game 1 and then 8-1 in Game 2. And that's because of Hurricane Hillary. Then they hosted the Miami Marlins on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And they took 2 out of 3, which was nice. They won on Monday 6-2, and then lost on Tuesday 3-0, and then won on Wednesday 4-0. So they have today off, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the Padres hit the road to the Brew Crew to take on the Milwaukee Brewers, which, for the Brewers, they're kind of in that playoff picture as well, just because I want to say they're leading the division, and yes, they are. They're 3.5 ahead of the Chicago Cubbies, which is nice and all. And then after the Padres play the Brewers, the Padres hit the road to the Lou to take on the St. Louis Cardinals on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the Padres return to Petco Park to take on the San Francisco Giants in an NL West showdown, which I think is going to be very nice. So, for the Padres, their playoff hopes are still very minuscule, but if they could play their cards right, maybe they could sneak into that wild card spot, because you never know what could happen. But all in all, for the Padres, their playoff hopes are basically on life support. I feel they have a better playoff chance than the Angels do, and that kind of says a lot. Yeah. Poor Padres. They have really underachieved, but it is what it is sometimes. But that'll do it for the MLB portion of this show. I want to say that's it. I'm not going to discuss any volleyball because I kind of already did that on. I kind of already did that on Monday when I did Set Point. So I think it is that time to get on into the Dum Dum of the Week. So Dum Dum of the Week is an award I like to give out to when it comes to basically someone or an organization that does something stupid or dumb because reasons. And no one is safe from this award, not even myself. And I have to give the mini Dum Dum of the Week out because why not? And the mini Dum Dum of the Week goes out to, well, myself. And I made a boo-boo on Monday. So for those that don't know, I actually had a guest on Monday, and his name was Daniel Gilman. And it was an awesome show. I loved having Daniel Gilman on. But if you all remembered on Monday, or if you all listened carefully on Monday, or if you saw in the description, there was actually an error, a technical error on my part. So I actually forgot to turn off the drops when it came to my introductions. Yeah, when I was introducing Daniel, the drops were basically playing. So, uh-oh. And then when I went back to hear it, or when I was doing the introductions, I was like, oh, no! The drops are still playing! What have I done? So, sadly, one of the drops was still playing, a.k.a. Cale Henderson's drop was still playing. Fortunately, his drop isn't as loud as some of the others, so I don't think it drowned out too much of our sound. And thankfully my mic is pretty loud, but oh my goodness, that was so embarrassing. And this is what happens when I don't have my sound system on when it comes to the drops, when I don't listen to it. So, and I didn't want the sound system in terms of the drops drowning out the sound of my guest, if that makes any sense. Regardless, I shouldn't have left the drops on. I should have hit auto DJ off. So that was my fault for being reckless and whatnot. So I get the mini dum dum of the week because I should have been a little less careless, and I should have been a little bit more cautious. But at the same time, I didn't have lunch. But at the same time, I should have been more careful. I should have hit auto DJ a second time because reasons. So because of my carelessness, and because I didn't have lunch, and because I should have kept my eyes on the drops and auto DJ and whatnot, I get the mini dum dum of the week. Thankfully, it wasn't too loud, and looking back on it, the sound from me and Daniel Gilman and my mic drowned out the sound of the drop. So that's why I get the mini dum dum of the week. Alright, but now for the actual dum dum of the week. And I actually have a few to give out. I think I have like 2 or 3. So we'll start off with the first one. And I forgot to give this one out, but the first one goes out to a recurring dum dum of the week. So first dum dum of the week goes out to, well, this guy who decided to make a mistake when it comes to purchasing Twitter. So I don't know if I discussed this last week, but in case I didn't, well, Elon Musk made a huge mistake. Elon Musk is now thinking of getting rid of a feature when it comes to Twitter. He's now thinking of getting rid of the block feature on Twitter. Now, for those that don't know, blocking is basically a good feature to get rid of. It basically means that the person can't follow you, or the person basically can't message you or reply to you or do anything of that sort. If Elon Musk thinks this is a good idea, it's not. Now, I don't know if Elon Musk is just trolling just to ruffle the feathers of everybody, but this is a horrible idea. I really think that Elon Musk should not get rid of blocking. Just because there are lots of shady, suspicious people or suspicious bots on Twitter, and there are lots of, and it's just so annoying, and I have to use the block feature to basically filter out all of the bots, and also the malicious phishing links that are in my replies that are basically trying to scam everybody. So all in all, yeah, I think getting rid of the block feature on Twitter is a terrible idea. So Elon Musk is really getting rid of Twitter, is getting rid of the joy of Twitter, and he's really setting himself up to be Dum Dum of the Year. I swear, if Elon Musk gets rid of the block feature on Twitter, or X, he is officially Dum Dum of the Year. There's no better way to say it. Elon Musk is really setting himself to be Dum Dum of the Year. First of all, he got rid of the Twitter name. It's now X. Second of all, he's basically getting rid of he's getting rid of X altogether and getting rid of all the fun features of X. And third, I will still refer to Twitter as Twitter. It's not going to be known as X for me. I'm going to refer to Twitter as Twitter no matter what. I may just refer to it as X every now and then. But regardless, it's still Twitter in my heart. So, Elon Musk, if you find some way to get rid of blocking, even though we still have to deal with these bots and these malicious phishing links, which leads to scams and whatnot, I swear you will be Dum Dum of the Year. And I will not hold back. You know that? So, to you, Elon Musk, you are Dum Dum of the Week yet again, and I do not care what your excuse is this time.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
And that's Dum Dum of the Week number 1. Now, Dum Dum of the Week number 2 is another recurring Dum Dum of the Week from last week. And you know what? I don't think this organization learned from last week. It's Domino's again. So, you know how I got you know how I got a offer of a free 2-topping medium pizza? Well, I got another offer. This time I got 50% off. Well, this was actually public. This was 50% off medium pizzas, or 50% off pizzas for last week. And this was only for last week. And I really want to have a pizza. I was actually randomly craving pizza, and I got home from the Long Beach State Pepperdine scrimmage, and I wanted to order me a pizza, and I'm like, yeah, gonna get me a pizza. But I wanted to make it healthy, and it's delicious. But then I went on the Domino's app, and I'm thinking, okay, the Domino's app can't be crashing this time around. But then it crashed again, and it still had those same recurring problems as it did last week. No. Domino's did not learn its problem from the week before and the week before and the week before. I don't know what it is with Domino's and its app and its website crashing, but I seriously cannot take this. If this website and its app continues to crash, I ain't ordering from Domino's anymore, and I'm just going to forget about it, and I'm actually just going to order Little Caesars from this point forward. I can't take this Domino's BS any longer. And yeah, I may just recommend my man J-Man and just ordering Little Caesar. Oh, this is ridiculous, dude. It's like, how do you not figure out your website's problems in terms of saying, we're sorry, our website is receiving multiple problems. It's like, then figure it out. Hire an IT guy. I'm sick of Domino's just denying me a chance to order online. And I'm not going to call and have them basically screw up and say, charge me full price. I refuse to have the workers basically charge me full price. It's going to happen. I already can tell it's going to happen. Am I being a negative Nancy? Probably. But honestly, it's going to happen. I feel it'll happen just because technology and whatnot. Or lack of technology and whatnot. But Domino's, because you didn't learn from your mistake last week, you are this week's Dum Dum of the Week this week.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
I am so disappointed in you, Domino's. For being so economically good, you are just terribly bad at technology and figuring things out. And now for my third Dum Dum of the Week. Remember how I said something in regard to Hurricane Hillary last week? How I said, be safe from Hurricane Hillary and don't go playing in the rain or don't go acting a fool in the rain. Otherwise, you'll be on Dum Dum of the Week. Well, I actually came across a video with hooligans playing in the rain, and I basically was like, oh no. I'm not going to really go into specifics of people playing, of why they were playing in the rain, but they were just playing in the rain, and long story short, yeah, they were playing in the rain, and I hate how my computer just had a pop-up just because my mic picks up a lot of sound. Anyway, long story short, there was a bunch of hooligans that were playing in the rain like it was nobody's business, and playing in like lots of floods and whatnot. I don't know how to say this. I found this on X, and I'm gonna let y'all look for this on your own. I think you should just look up Hurricane Hillary playing in the floods, and then it'll basically just show you these hooligans playing in the rain. and it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny, but it's pretty stupid as well. But I am a man of my word. If you played in the rain, or you did something stupid, or you acted a fool during Hurricane Hillary, you're getting Dum Dum of the Week. I don't give a crap who you are. I am the man of the word. You are Dum Dum of the Week to whomever you are, whomever was in this video. I am not lying. I will not hold back. You are Dum Dum of the Week. You should have been smart about this. You should have definitely known better. You knew the consequences going into dancing in the rain and in these floods and splashing all over the place. All you just wanted was clout. All that for a drop of clout and a drop of rain. All that just to splash and play and get wet and whatnot. Just for that. Oh my god, these people are so stupid. Anyway, to the people that basically were playing in the rain during Hurricane Hillary and during these floods, you're Dum Dum of the Week.
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
And that, my friends, is all she wrote. People these days. When are people going to learn? I was going to add another Dum Dum of the Week, but I feel it might get a little too personal. Okay, a little too personal. But maybe I'll save that for next week. But on that note, that is going to do it for this week's episode of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show. Before my sanity leaves my body, it is that time for me to get on out of here. Because I need a nap after I worked a 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. shift. Yeah, dig? Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the SoCal Supreme Sports Show. I really do appreciate everybody tuning in. If you listen live, I appreciate you. If you listen on the playback, I appreciate you. If you listen at work, I appreciate you. If you listen at any time, any place, anywhere, I appreciate you. Shout out to the chat room. Mikey Two Guns, Cale Henderson, Davidson Crooks, Larry B, Joey Hagart, or Pagart, from Where You At Sports Chat, as well as the man, the myth, the legend, Larry B. I will be with him this Saturday doing 3 and Out College Edition, so keep it locked there. For everyone here at IE Sports Radio, this is Teran Rodriguez signing off. Have yourself a great rest of the weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, we made it. Just gonna tell y'all, Hurricane Hillary was not that bad. I'll also just tell y'all, for those that were saying Hurricane Hillary was going to be the end of the world, yes, we did have an earthquake. Yes, we did have humidity like we were in Florida. Yes, we had like floods and whatnot, but we survived. I'm here, and that's all that really matters if you're listening. I will see you all on Friday at Long Beach State for Long Beach State, Texas. And I'll also see you all I'll see you all this weekend for Long Beach State for the women's volleyball matches. And I'll also see you all on Monday for Set Point regular time at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And for next week's episode of SoCal Supreme Sports Show, I imagine it's probably going to be maybe Thursday again. Expect it to be Thursday, maybe Friday. It all depends, just because I had something happen at work. But time will tell. Have a great weekend, everybody. And remember, SoCal is for SoCal. Peace!